Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to TTG TV podcast. Tonight's discussion is going to be families dealing with. What did you say? Oh, I'm sorry. So, tonight's topic is going to be families dealing with addiction. And I want you to go ahead and get whatever you need, your snacks, whatever you need to wind down, and meet me right back here. Just a minute. Welcome back to our channel. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening to TTG TV. So again, tonight's topic is going to be about families that deal with addiction. A lot of times that we have these things go on in our families and we don't even like to actually speak on it, or we joke about it. And it's actually really a serious topic that should be addressed. I'm sorry, guys, I don't know if it's the nerves, I don't know what it is, but your girl over here spitting. Nah, for real. But it's like, you have this go on in your family and you hate to see it going on. And all you want to do is find a way to save them from themselves or from the addiction itself. And addiction comes in so many different ways. It can be alcohol, it could be marijuana, it could be anything, any other substance abuse that they can get a hold of. So you just never know what somebody is going through. And inside of families, a lot of times it's not a topic that they want to speak on, or they don't want to acknowledge it. And a lot of times we find ourselves trying to just help that person. So tonight's topic is going to be about that. It's going to be about, what do you do when you have a family member that is going through these things and all you want to do is pull them out of the abyss. So to start off, I just wanted to give some statistics. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. This is new. So yeah, I'm going to start out with some statistics first, just to kind of give you an idea of what we really are dealing with. And I know we know that addiction is widespread, but to me to see those statistics, it was just heartbreaking. So according to the National Survey on Drug Use and Health, they're saying that 19.7 million adults, and they're calling the adults anything age 12 and older, battle a substance abuse disorder. So, and with that being said, 19.7 million Americans, guys, it is out of hand. And it's getting more and more widespread as the days go on. And I don't know about anybody else, but that is a fear that I have when it comes to my own kids and the life that my grandkids are growing up in. And I said it, my grandkids. You know what I'm saying? Because if this is what it is now, what is it going to be in a matter of years? It's just ridiculous. So, and they already saying that 1 out of every adult struggles with alcohol and drug addiction at the same time. So it's hard to even get a grasp on those numbers or get a grasp on the concept that almost everybody is going through something or on something or doing something. Now, it is the rare occasion that you got people out here that never have tried any type of recreational drugs or did anything of the sort. You know what I'm saying? You got those people out there. I think they count as a minority, but they are there. So I also learned with this project that drug abuse and addiction costs in America is a 740 billion annual expense, and they're losing this money in regards to workplace productivity, healthcare expenses, crime related costs that go with, once they're already out there and they're doing these things, you know that crime follows right along with it. It's sad, but it's true. So, you know, it really comes down to, what do? You got this. It doesn't even necessarily have to be a family member. It could be somebody that you're close to, just friends with, you know. But what do? So, before we get started in our discussion this evening, I would like to give a disclosure, because I want everybody to feel comfortable that comes in on the channel, comes in on the podcast. I want you to be free to speak your opinion, you know, say what you will, but I also want to make sure that we're not judging anybody. So this platform is not for judging, nor is it for forcing any type of agendas on anybody. I want us to all respect that everyone doesn't have to agree, and that they won't have the same opinions on any given subject, okay? So that's what this forum is all about. And as we move forward in our different topics as we grow, and I definitely hope you guys stay with me. I definitely want you to be comfortable speaking, but I want you to be careful as to how you respond, because I don't want anybody to feel that they're being forced in any direction or the other, okay? So with that being said, let's get into tonight's topic. So for me, I can say that growing up, and you can say it's because of my era or whatever, but I can honestly say that I never just saw anybody buying drugs or doing drugs in front of me outside of prescriptions and stuff like that. That just wasn't the norm. But I'm sure that you all can agree with me that as time has gone on, it's gotten more loose, how they say, loose as a goose, because not only do they buy the drugs in front of the kids, they do the drugs in front of kids. So it's like, that means that it's coming to a point where it is a norm. And that's scary, but it's true. So, okay, with that being said, you know, again, like I said, I never just seen that growing up. And then, like, you used to have to know somebody that knew who the man was. And then it changed out. Everybody want to be the man. Everybody want to be the man. So then you got them all standing out trying to get jump over the next one to get the sale, get the business, get the money, you know. And so now you got people walking around and they zombified. I said zombified. That's my word. But like, you know, you started seeing these changes, and now that's what you see, and it's like you don't even bat your eyes twice. So at this point, it's like, you know, you see them going through this thing, and because there's so many people that are doing it, that's an argument in itself, because it's like, oh, so-and-so is doing it, so ain't nothing wrong with them. They still can go to work, they still do this. I mean, you know, you got some functionals and you got some that just can't get nothing done when they under the influence. So I mean, when you look at addiction, whether or not you carry yourself like an addict, if you are bound to doing any type of substance abuse on a regular basis, I hate to be the one. But that's what it is, baby. That is what it is. So we gonna just cut it out just straight off the hip in here. We just going straight off the hip, okay? So when it seems like that they're in that addiction, it also seems like they start to distance themselves. And when they distance themselves, then now the addiction is causing a major problem, because you're separating families. You got ones that get addicted or get on these drugs, and they feel like they blame everything on everybody, and everything is a problem. It's no solution. It just comes down to really trying to figure out, as a family member, what do you do? So I do believe that it can become a handicap. I believe that, certain people, they don't expect to become an addict. They don't expect to get on dope. They don't expect to be on this, that, another, the pills, the uppers, downers, and all these different things. It could have been a surgery that brought it on. Could have been a birth that brought it on. If you're doing the drugs while the baby is in you, 9 times out of 10, the baby is going to be addicted when it's born. So, okay, you got those situations, and then you got those that just go out and try different things, and next thing you know, that is what they like. That is what they do. So I say all that, to say that it comes down, for me, I truly agree that being in that prediction, having those type of addictions, it can definitely cause them to be in a handicapped position. They see what it's doing to them, and they don't know how to pull themselves out. And even if they want to be a operating part of the family, when they come around, they don't feel like that, because everybody else is moving on another pace. Everybody else is doing other things, and they feel like the whole world is on their shoulders. So I want to open up the lines of communication tonight and see what you guys think about it. Do you feel that providing the needs of someone that's dealing with addiction is helping them or handicapping them? Do you feel like you're helping them through their situation, or do you feel like you're helping them with or aiding and abetting the addiction? So that's going to be our first question for tonight, and I'm going to go ahead and open up the lines. If you guys want to go ahead and start comments, definitely go ahead. I will respond. And also, I just want to know, how you guys feel about the situation. When we're going through these things, again, like I say, a lot of times we find ourselves venting to other people about things, but we don't really want nobody to tell us, you know what I'm saying, you should do better when it comes to them, or you shouldn't be doing that for them, because they should be doing it for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because again, like I said, it to me depends on how the addiction came about. If you chose that addiction, I personally feel like if you chose that addiction and you're a grown individual, that I don't mind doing what I can to help you, but I'm not going to aid and abet it. I'm not giving you money so that you can go out there and get it. I smoke cigarettes. I'm not finna sit and give my cigarette allowance to you, because ain't nobody giving me my cigarette allowance to me. I'm just saying, right or wrong, it comes down to it. If you hungry, I'll give you something to eat. You thirsty, I'll give you something to drink. But if it come down to you just want money, and that's all you want. I went to a restaurant one time, and the dude is standing there, and I'm feeling, I should, give him something. He just standing right here by this restaurant. He might be hungry, Felt bad for him, y'all. Felt real bad for the man. So I let the window down to pay for my food, and I said, he asked for $1. I said, are you hungry? He said, yeah. I said, well, what do you want to eat? And he said, I just want the money. I said, we all want some money. You dig? We all want some money. So with that being said, y'all already know, I bought him a burger. Gave him the burger. I don't know if he went and sold the burger. I don't know if he ate the burger. I don't know what happened with that burger. But all I know is he got that burger, but he did not get no cash money. That just wasn't going to happen. But that's what a stranger is. Even when it comes down to your family, do you feel like if they're turning away to help you, do you feel like that you should monetarily or financially fund them in their activities, whatever it is? They can come up with some things as far as what they want to use it for and what they needed it for and all of that. But did they really do that? Or are they really going to do that is the question. So, it's just crazy. I just want to know what you guys think about it. I really didn't want to come with a serious topic, but at the same time, I felt like this was one that definitely needed some attention towards it. I too deal with it inside of mine, and I am in a state of mind where, you know, when you've done all you can do, I was told you just stand. So I'm gonna wait. I want you guys to tell me what you think. I see some guy. Oh, thank you. So we do have a comment here. When you're just trying to appease them or just giving them what they call and ask for, you're only giving them the resources they need to continue the addiction. I can't say that I disagree. I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. So guys, don't be shy. Come on now. That's why this is a podcast. I definitely need you guys to chime in. I know y'all didn't just come to see this pretty face. I know y'all didn't just come to see my pretty face, did you? If that's the case, I could just stand up in here and model for y'all all night long. What you want? Nah, for real though. I know y'all did not join on here tonight just to look. So I want you to join in on the conversation. Definitely join in on the conversation. And also, I would like for y'all to go over to my YouTube channel, because if you do miss tonight's airing broadcast, then you can always go over and catch it on YouTube. It'll be on TTG TV. Now there is another one on there. You know they flossing, they ain't your girl. You know what I'm saying? So you know you gotta scroll. You might have to scroll for a minute. We new to the page. We new to this thing, but definitely scroll, look up TTG TV, and join. Come on, hit that notification bell. Be sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our casts. So yes. And let's take a look over here at the comments. Okay, hold on one second. Let me check over here, because you guys, I'm actually on Instagram Live also. If you didn't want to be on YouTube, you can also see us over here on Instagram. Gotta pull up. All right. So then also I wanted to ask you guys, do you feel like age makes a difference in how you respond when it comes to that? Do you feel like age has something to do with it? Because like if you have somebody grown, do you feel that you should even interfere with what they have going on? You know, I mean, and risk being an enemy, because sometimes people don't want you to comment on their business. Some people don't want you to tell them. They don't want you to tell them better. They don't want you to help them do better. They don't want none of that. So in that situation, with them being grown, do you bother to go the extra mile? I'm just taking a look here at my feed. I know some of us have already attempted. You've already tried. You've taken them to hospitals, rehabs. You know, you might be going to turn them into authorities, hoping that they get the help that they need, you know. And lo and behold, it still is the same thing. It's still the same drummer boy beating that same drum. Beating that same drum, that same beat. So if you've done all that and that still doesn't seem to be enough, what do? Do you back off? Do you take, a few steps back and evaluate the situation that they don't want the help? Because anytime that you're steady compiling mess over mess over mess over mess, you're only going to end up with a whole bunch of mess. It's not going to get better. And you try to explain that, but it's very hard for them to understand that. I know I had my dad tell me, it's like, you're not going to understand it. You're not going to get it. So you just have to be there, and you just have to support them. You just have to be there and back them up, you know. And I understand that. I definitely get that part. But when you've done all you can and they still don't want that help, what do? Do you continue to go on again aiding the situation, or do you take a couple steps back and let them figure it out? And thank you guys for the thumbs up. Thank you. And all the well wishes. I appreciate that. I love you guys. Thank you. I'm really a little I don't know if it should be a crime. That's what it should be. It should be a crime how many sit and look at the page. And but let me explain something to y'all. So we can knock this on out the way, okay? Because I don't know. But I do know, I know way too many of y'all for y'all to not be on here, or for y'all to not be commenting. So I'm going to speak on it, because I am TTG. I've been that. Okay, so let me say this. I don't know if y'all feel like y'all going to do something that's going to benefit me, or it's going to help me, or y'all think it's going to pay me, or y'all think something. But let me explain something to you. That is not the case here. That is not the case here. And if I was to come up, I highly doubt it's going to be off of somebody, you know what I'm saying? I just don't think it's going to be off of the hate, okay? I definitely know it's going to come from people that love me. Okay? So with that being said, whether or not you join, whether or not you watch, whether or not, you know, y'all comment, if y'all just came through just to see what it is, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I do. And I love you just the same. But I've definitely had a lot of feedback from a lot of people, so I know that I got good support system. So I'm not even worried on that end. But I do want y'all to join. I mean, you know, join conversation wise. Tell me what you think. I mean, you know, it'd be enough talking behind people back and all of this, that, and another. I would like for you to just bring it to the table. That's what TTG is all about. If you can't say it straight up, then ain't no need in you saying it. If you can't say it straight up, there is no need in you even saying anything. So, you know, if there's going to be some side conversations, hey, bring them to the table. Bring them to our comment section so we can all address it at one time. I'm sure a lot of my followers would love to see what you have to say. I know I would. So, yeah. When it comes down to addiction, guys, it is very sad to say, but the way that they're talking about going ahead and legalizing the marijuana, that's definitely going to be a plus for the ones that need it. But as far as the ones that are just using it and it's just for recreational use, like we might be in some real trouble. We might be in some real trouble. They killing, stealing, and everything these days. Like, I'm serious. Like, you don't know if you can get out of the car at the gas stations. You got them standing around the gas stations selling or own it or whatever. However, either way, you just never know what you're dealing with. So I'm going to go ahead and go on a small break. I am going to leave you guys with a question. And again, that question is going to be, do you feel that age plays a difference in addiction and how you how you maintain or how you assist the person that's dealing with the addiction? Do you feel that it is age oriented, or does it just not matter? If it's a family member and you know that they need the help, you're going to continue to give the help. So I'll be right back.
Got that love for the dicky, but I love to lick the kitty. Some might say that could get tricky.
Thank you so much. All right. Hi, Joe. Thanks for joining in. If you guys can't hear me, well, if you can hear me, send me a thumbs up, please.
You good.
All right. So we're back up and going. Thank you guys. I just tried to get an intermission in there because it was a little hot. And I don't know. I wanted to give you guys some time to get on and get caught up and kind of tell me what you guys think. So again, my question for tonight is, what do you do when you're dealing with a family member with addiction? Do you feel like if you're helping them, that you're helping them through the addiction, or do you feel like you're helping add to the problem of the addiction? Do you feel like you're aiding and abetting the addiction? Because I mean, you got people who are supplying meals, they're supplying clothes, they're supplying a place for them to sleep, they're supplying their needs, the necessities of life, you know. So if you're giving them everything that they need to be able to sustain and be able to make it through, what is the incentive for them to not do the drugs and get these things on their own? What is the incentive if you're handing it to them? Awesome. What's up, that guy D? So I'm not really feeling the comment, waiting on it and things. So come next week, you guys just be ready, because I'm going to be joining you on, because I'd rather talk. You know, I'm a talker. That's what I do. It's what I do. So yeah. Again, like I said, you know, this is not take shots at anybody. You know, I done smoked my weed. I done drank my drink. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people would consider, you know, drinkers to be addicts as well, because alcoholism is a real disease. But at the same time, I consider myself to be a functional person when I'm drinking or whatever, because it's not going to stop me from getting done whatever I need to get done. That does not negate me from, or say that that's not an issue that I have to deal with or whatever, because I'm sure it's something I may have to deal with in the long run, because I don't mind pouring up a drink. So I was asked to ask the question again. My question is in regards to having family members that deal with addiction. Do you feel that when you're providing their needs, if you're providing the needs of someone that's dealing with an addiction, are you helping them or are you hurting them? So shout out to that guy D. He says, I feel you should let them feel the struggle so it can help them to do on their own. Thumbs up to you, brother. I agree with you. I agree with you. And I say that because, again, like I said, if you are going through something and you need that help, I have no problem helping you. You know, but if you are going through that thing and I have taken you, I done helped with the talking, I done helped with the listening, I done helped with the rehab, I done helped with the feeding, the clothing, handling other issues. When do you say enough is enough? Because if you're giving them everything they need, then where do you leave them room to be an adult? Where do you leave them room to get these things on their own? And if they know that they can have these things without getting out of the addiction, then why would they be motivated? Why would they be motivated? Thank you, Pastor Barfield. hurting them. Yes, I do. I feel like you're necessarily making them a handicap at that point because they have no motivation to get off of it and get off their behind. They don't have no motivation to do that. All I got to do is call you and ask you for $20, $10, $5. Some of them $2. Some of them $1. It don't matter. They just want it. And if they got to stand there and work it up, they'd rather stand there and hold that sign or stand there and hold their hand out. And that's just sad. I mean, I'm a TTG girl, trained to go. I don't care what I got going on, what I'm trying to do. If it's some business got to be tended to, it got to be tended to. It's gonna get tended to. Like, that's just crazy to me. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where it all went wrong. Like I said, one while you had to know somebody that was the man. You had to know somebody to know somebody to know somebody. Now everybody demand. So even if with it being in a high demand, you got 1,001 of them that can serve you up. So it's the norm for you to pull up with your kid. Pull up with your kid. Purchase it. Go up to the store. Buy whatever paraphernalia you need to get it done. Take it to the house. And then there you go. It's floating out through the house. Now you got kids running around. They smelling it. They taking it in. You know, whether they breathing it in through the air, however. It just, where does enough become enough? Like, I mean, we have already blurred the lines, you know what I'm saying, in regards to grown folks and kids. And then we talk about drug abuse and all of the things that go with addiction. It's like, how can you not expect them to want to try these things if they seeing you do these things? They see you do it, and you tell them all the time, I ain't gonna tell you nothing wrong. I ain't gonna do nothing to hurt you. These are your kids. And then your kid come up and he got something in his pocket. Now you ready to nut up. But they saw it. They saw it through you. So why would they feel like what they're doing is wrong? And then it's starting so early on now. Come on. I had a situation where my daughter went to school. Another kid brought it to the school. They decided to partake of it at the school. Now, I can't say that I wasn't fire hot, pissed off, mad as all get out. But I still had to give an account of, okay, she's seen this before. She done seen this before, so I know that she ain't no stranger to it. She should have had more sense than trying to do it the way she was doing it. But, I mean, my anger with her it couldn't even get as big as it could have gotten if I had never even set that into motion myself. So, but at the end of the day, when I started to explain to them, you know, you can tell your kids do as I say and not as I do. Means nothing. That's the main thing they're going to want to do. So then you got this kid running around here and he's turned into an addict by the age of 21. How do you deal with that? Is it your fault? Because you exposed them to this thing? Now, I'm pretty sure I got plenty of uncles and family members that'll be like, yeah, it's your fault. Who fault is it? You know? But then you got other ones that are other people that'll just be like, you know, well, they were going to have exposure to it either way. Because truth be told, your children are going to have these exposures whether or not you expose them to them or not. You're in a world right now where all they got to do is go to school and somebody going to have one or the other of what they looking for or what they want. So now you got these kids coming out of school already addicted to something. Now, again, what do you do with that kid? I asked you all a minute ago. Does age play a factor? Does age play a factor? If the child is that young, what do? Do you go ahead and send that kid to a rehab before it even get out of hand? Do you try to handle it yourself? I have another comment. Shout out to Pretty Boy Suave King. Thank you for joining in. But these kids don't get that era. they soon everything they see on social media, so it makes it easier and makes it more accessible to them. Exactly. Oh, and it don't help. It don't. So I know y'all heard how the kids had edibles at the Valentine's Day at one of the schools, and some kids' heart started racing, and they had to call 911. And when 911 gets there, it's because somebody done brought edibles to the school. Like I said, access is not the issue. Access is definitely it's just not. That's already out. How they say they out the barn, the cows out the barn, or how they say the horses out the. I don't know. Either way, y'all know what I mean. The trouble already done got started. So access that's already a given. But the fact of the matter is, when you've got those children that age, how do you deal with that? That is your child. That is somebody that you want to do better than you in life. That you want to see nothing but the best for. So how do you deal with that situation if they've gotten that exposure at the school and now they own it, and now all they want to do is that drug? Pastor Joe says there is such thing as disconnecting from something and being totally healed from something. Disconnecting is not being healed, and the issue will lay dormant until it's ready to surface again if they are not healed. I have to say amen to that one. I do agree, because I mean, you do have to deal with it, but the thing is, how do you deal with it? Because if you've dealt with an addict, they don't know, or they don't want to admit that they're an addict. That's first things first. You done stepped on the toe or two if you call them addict. Shoot, there might be fighting words. So you call them an addict, you think they're an addict, and you trying to deal with the situation in that way. So you want to get them the help that they need, and they don't want it. But I say they don't want it, but they still gonna need that money. They gonna find a reason to ask for that money. They gonna call you, and they gonna need all kind of other things as well. You know what I'm saying? Seasons change, needs change. So, at the end of the day, I think that this discussion was definitely needed to shed light on not only the statistics of the matter, because I'm going to run those back across y'all just so I'm sure that they sunk in. I want them to sink in. And hopefully, somebody will actually hear this and take heed that, hey, yeah, I might be the person they talking about, and I need to do better. I need to get myself together. Because nobody wants their family looking at them sideways, and they don't want you to feel like you got to hide your pocketbook or your stuff, your personal belongings, or your expensive things in your house when they come. They don't want that feeling. They really don't. And that alienates them even more. So it's like, maybe this will force them to actually think about how they are carrying themselves and what they doing and how they putting their families in a crazy position. Like, you don't want to alienate them, but it's sometimes just no way to get around alienating them, because when you say certain things to them, it offends them because they don't want to face the issue at hand. Hey, I got this problem. I need that real help, but I ain't got time for that right now. I want what I want. And the drug just have them just like that. I want what I want when I want. So it's kind of hard to get through to them when they are in that state of mind. Hey, Mary. Hey. Mwah. Love you, lady. So Mary, thank you for joining in. Hey, Mary. Mary says we have to talk to our children openly about everything, and I that does cut down on a lot of the confusion. If you just stay real with them, stop goo goo gaga them, stop sitting there and telling them that it's rainbows, midgets, and sprinkles when it's way worse out here in this world. Like, it's getting worse by the days if you don't notice it. I feel like we're in the end days. I feel like it's time for us to take heed. I think it's time for us to save our youth. I think it's time for us to go back to some of our old roots, because what they used to say is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And yet they went to changing up everything. Good, bad, good. I got Miss Straight Sassy says it's like a double-edged sword. At the end of the day, they have to come to the conclusion on their own. They have to come to the conclusion. I agree. Y'all are really coming with some great comments tonight. I just want to thank you and applaud y'all. And oh my God, yes, Lord, it is. It gets too real in the Ville. I mean, because we deal with these things and it's an ugly topic. I know it is, guys. I know it is. I know y'all probably sitting there like, why she want to talk about this? Why that topic for the first time? I don't know, guys. So hopefully I'm touching somebody's heart tonight. I, too, like I said, am dealing with it, and you do the best you can. I'm going to speak to the mothers and parents right now. If you have a child that's out there and suffering with an addiction, I really want you to stay prayed up. Cover them. Pray and cover them, because it's necessary. Because it doesn't matter what you do materialistically or material-wise or financially. What's going to help them is them making a relationship spiritually with the man above. I mean, and until they can bring their selves to get to that point, it's our job as parents to pray and keep them covered, so that when they are able to see that, it'll just make it all the better. It'll make them know that they are back on the right track, because you're not going to tell them nothing wrong. And if you're spreading the word and you're steady speaking positive things on them, then there's going to be a positive outcome in the end, okay? It's going to be. And he's going to work it all out in the end. I always put it in his hands anyway. That guy D says, I remember being that kid. I was always asking for a 20 or 40 from my parents. It didn't help me at all. It helped me stay in the position I was in. Exactly. See, that's what a lot of people need to admit to, because I have to say this, and I know I'm gonna be stepping on some toes when I say it, but hey, I wouldn't be Phoenix, I wouldn't be Shar, aka Phoenix, if I didn't, okay? But I got fathers. I got fathers of my children. I don't know how I want to say that. I'm just gonna say it like it is. They don't want to admit to what they did. You know what I'm saying? So therefore your child can't relate to you. They don't feel like they can talk to you on a certain level, because you won't even talk to them on a normal level. You know what I'm saying? Just let them know you're normal. You're not this superhuman. You know what I'm saying? Just let them know that, so that maybe you can give them some words of wisdom that'll help them out that situation. But steady funding it, I still to this day, and I probably never will, feel that that's helping the situation. And you do. I have, and thank you so much for joining in, Honor Antoine. Shout out to you. I want you to know, yes, I do agree, dealing with it right on the spot is always the best way to go about it. You can't keep sweeping things under the rug. Now, a lot of people have fallen under addiction due to personal reasons or family issues or feeling stressed out and things like that. You know what I'm saying? But if y'all take the time to talk to them, take time to listen, that makes all the difference in the world. It does. And it always takes you a step further if you can actually sit there with that person and you can talk to them and actually, how do they say, relate to them. You know what I'm saying? You can relate to them, because I don't know about nobody else, but the blind can't lead the blind. That's what I was told. So somebody that ain't been really through something, you can't really tell me if I'm going through something. I need that person that done been through the same scenario or similar to it for them to give me some advice. I mean, but then I'm just that's how I am, y'all. They might call that a little hard head too. I don't know. And then I have my comment. It says, let them know that you love them regardless. And if you've been, if you've been there, let them know that. So yes, relating to them is always important, and trying to stay there as a support system. But again, don't make yourself that crutch. That's basically what I want you guys to not do. Don't make yourself the crutch. You know, because again, what? Okay, and I'm gonna leave y'all with this because it's about that time for us to wrap it up. But you're doing all of this, and you're helping. You in your heart of hearts, you feel like you're helping them. But I got this question I want to leave y'all with: when you're gone, who they gonna call on? If they're not self-sufficient, who they gonna call on? Who else you think gonna do what you do? It's one girl on. So with that being said, it's about time. That's our time for tonight. I want to thank you guys for joining in and watching. If you enjoy, wait. Trying to do too much. If you enjoyed tonight's cast, if you enjoyed tonight's conversation, I would definitely love it if you guys will join us next week. Also, if you're a YouTuber or if you haven't been to YouTube, come over to my page, TTGTV, like, share, subscribe, and you turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any of the topics at hand. Now, this was just the start of many more to come, guys, because y'all know, like I said, talking is my specialty. So, with that being said, I can't wait to see you guys next week, okay? Thanks again for joining in. Have a great night. Kick back and relax. Stay prayed up. Good night, guys.